All right, let's talk about a game that was supposed to be an absolute heavyweight fight for third place in the East, Cavs versus Knicks. But, one 12-minute stretch just turned it from what should have been a nail-biter into a historic, unbelievable collapse. So let's break down what in the world happened. So you look at the final score, 109-94, and you might think, okay, a comfortable win for the Cavs. But the real story is right here in the quarter-by-quarter breakdown. The first half is tight, really competitive, and then, you see that? The third quarter. The Knicks scored just 11 points. 11! So the real question isn't just who won, but how a top-tier team could just completely fall apart like that. And to really get the weight of that collapse, you've got to understand the stakes. I mean, this was not just another game on the schedule, not by a long shot. This was a straight-up battle for sole possession of third place in the entire Eastern Conference. And this is just how tight the race was. Both of these teams walked onto the court with the exact same record, 37 wins and 22 losses. I mean, on paper, it doesn't get any more evenly matched than this. This whole thing was set up to be an absolute thriller, right down to the wire. And you know what? For the first 24 minutes, that's exactly what we got. It was this classic, gritty, playoff-style battle that everybody was hoping for. It was a true back-and-forth fight. Teams were trading baskets, getting big defensive stops. Neither team could really pull away. So heading into the locker room at halftime, the Cavs are up by just 6. A totally manageable deficit, right? This game is still very, very much up for grabs. It really felt like the stage was set for an epic second half. Well, it wasn't. And then came the third quarter. Look, this 12-minute stretch wasn't just a turning point. It was a complete and total unraveling. This is the exact moment a super close contest just turned into a one-sided blowout. It's where the Knicks lost the game, plain and simple. I mean, the numbers here are just stark. The Cavaliers put up a solid 23 points. The Knicks, they managed a measly 11. When you get outscored more than 2-1 in a single quarter, that's pretty much a recipe for disaster in a game this big. But it's how they got to those 11 points that's just mind-blowing. The Knicks' offense, it vanished. They took 24 shots from the field and made only 3 of them. Seriously, let that sink in for a second. 3 made baskets in a full 12 minutes of professional basketball. Wow. And their struggles went way beyond the arc for the whole game, too. They shot just 27% from 3. Now, what makes that number even crazier is that Cleveland actually came into this game with one of the worst three-point defenses in the entire league. This was a massive, massive missed opportunity for New York. And to put this meltdown into some historical context for you, this wasn't just some bad quarter. We're talking about a historically bad quarter. You have to go back years to find a shooting performance this awful from the Knicks. It was just a total system failure on offense. And hey, while the Knicks' offense was grinding to a halt, Cleveland, they put their foot on the gas. They saw an opening, and they did exactly what a great team does. They slammed the door shut and took absolute control of the game. The knockout blow really came as this decisive 13-2 run that stretched from the end of that disastrous third quarter right into the start of the fourth. That was it. That was the run that broke the game wide open and pretty much put it way out of reach for New York. And for Cleveland, it was a really balanced attack. Donovan Mitchell, yeah, he led the scoring with 23, but they got huge contributions all around. You had Darius Garland chipping in, and Jarrett Allen was just a beast in the paint with 19 points and 10 boards. It was a true team win. So, okay, a brutal loss for the Knicks and a massive win for the Cavs. But what does this one game actually mean for the playoff race as we head down the home stretch? Well, the implications are actually a little more complicated than you might think. Here's the twist. Despite this lopsided loss, the Knicks actually won the 3-game season series against the Cavaliers, 2-1. Yep, they had already beaten them in their first 2 meetings earlier in the season. So here's the crucial point. By winning that season series, the Knicks locked up the head-to-head tiebreaker. What does that mean? It means if both teams finish the season with the exact same record, New York gets the higher seed. That is a massive silver lining in what was otherwise a devastating loss. Which, of course, brings us to the final question. The Knicks have that crucial tiebreaker in their back pocket, which is great, but a collapse like this? Man, it raises some serious questions about their consistency. So, can they shake off a historically bad performance and actually hold their ground in this brutally competitive Eastern Conference? Well, only time is going to tell.